If you like Helldivers 2, if you like Warframe, then you're definitely gonna like the First Descendant. The First Descendant has a lot of potential, like it really does. When you first played, like today was one of the final tests for them, I believe, to have it. I don't know if it's a full release, but it's a beta. But anyways, we were able to test it. We got approved for it. And it reminds you of a lot of games. It reminds you of like a Warframe. It reminds you somewhat of a Helldivers 2 aspect, and then it also has a sprinkle of Halo, like the grunts. The enemies kind of sound like the grunts. They say little funny stuff and just make funny noises. Also it does really remind you of just the way gaming is really rotating in this essence when it comes to live service games and when it comes to your battle passes and everything like that. Now, I don't know if the First Descendant's going to be free to play or is it just full on you have to buy it and then it's a live service after like Helldivers 2. Hopefully if it is paid, maybe it's a actual portion of what actual games cost these days. But it is a really solid game. The story can seem a little bit generic, the linear part of it, but it does still captivate. It looks good. At least for a final test. What I'm saying, this is more the final test. I'll probably do an actual review on release, but I thought that this was something that was really cool because it kind of reminds you of everything. They have a cool headquarters, so that kind of reminded me of like a mini variation of a Monster Hunter or something. And the action is really, really cool. It does take a while to get rolling. Again, reminding me of Warframe. If I were to remind myself about any game when it comes down to the First Descendant, it is definitely Warframe. Warframe has this, it's still, in my opinion, the best free-to-play game of all time. Again, you do have games now like X-Defiant that is PvP that can possibly start going in these lists with Fortnite and Warzone and all that when it comes down to free-to-play, live service type games. But if you're not thinking PvP and your automatics like of battle royales, you're looking at Warframe and what they offer in terms of content and not really having to buy anything. Essentially, just go for the long haul, the long grind. The First Descendant has a lot of content. And even I only played a few hours in and I was like, whoa, this is a lot of content. Now, this can be deemed either way. And depending on what potential actually means to you, that's a whole nother story, right? Potential to me is just somewhat growth, replayability, and where I would want to invest my time in for a while. Again, it can give you a grasp of that RPG aspect, open world variation. There's fast travels. There's just some fun dialogue. I haven't played full linear story yet, but again, it seemed kind of generic already from the jump. But there is tons of side missions and everything that really helps. I feel the gunplay is okay. You have to really adapt your settings a lot more, but I did enjoy that. But if I were to just actually grasp onto just the content and what you're playing, I feel it is fun. Like the weapons, you get to hold like 3 weapons in rotation. You have these abilities with your descendants. And I was like, man, this is actually really good. Again, the only game that it really reminds me of the most of what I said earlier is the Halo aspect when it comes to the enemies. And then when you're actually playing and the variation of the game and the delivery of the game reminds me of Warframe so much. Now, Warframe has, we all know, probably some of the sickest movement in the world. But this game does very good with movement too. Like they have your own grapple. You have kind of like the way a hack and slash would be, but you have your gun. And the melee part is, it's okay. I mean, it's not the best, but it's all right. In terms of potential, though, this game does look like it is going somewhere. And that's all I want to get to because these are games like for people like me. When I deem potential, I play a lot of competitive games already. So if I want to play a PvE game and just kind of gradually level up, this is a great game for you. Because when you play in the beginning, it's way too easy. And that's exactly where they adopt that frame from Warframe, no pun intended. It's very easy when you first start these games, right? They usually say you don't start Warframe until like you played 40 hours already, right? You barely passed the tutorial, and it's a fun joke, but it's also some seriousness to it also because it is really easy until you really start graduating and leveling up everything and getting into that notion of being challenged, especially PvE. People don't like playing bots these days. I know what it does to the pride, especially for competitive people like myself. I play very high ranks on fighting games in Mortal Kombat and Tekken. I have over a 1 point KD, so I do know what it is to actually go plus in Call of Duty. So I know how it is when you want to really test your capabilities. It does start off a little slow when it comes to dialogue, delivery of story, and also just leveling up. The level up capability is fast, but I feel that you don't feel the level up as much because the enemies still feel very easy. I got up to almost 10, I think, right now, and it still feels like I still got a lot more to go, and that was about like an hour and a half to 2 hours in. So it does look like it's there for the long haul. This is a long haul type of game. The headquarters kind of reminds you that you can interact with everybody. And speaking of interaction, I think that's what really brings this game forward. Also, it's a co-op game. A lot of it can be randomly joining. Like everybody was just joining, having fun. There's a lot of emotes. I was being silly with people. I also thought that was very fun with the game. It's always fun to have some interaction. I didn't get as much as that response as I would Helldivers. Helldivers is usually far more, I don't know, there's something about the Helldivers community that's just like always down to just do funny emotes and be silly all day. So I was trying to get a lot more interactions, but hopefully maybe later on you'll get more as more people continuously play this game and understand the humor of it also. It seems like they did deliver these emotes and stuff to have some type of extracurricular to do, you know, be humorous, be funny, be silly. Kind of like somebody like me who doesn't take too much PvE games as serious as I should at times. I know that's on me. A long haul, a long grind, again, reminds me of Warframe. Again, there is a lot of hope in this game. I feel that it looks amazing. It plays amazing. After you set up all your keybinds or settings or whatever you're trying to do with your controller or keyboard, set up some of that. I had to fix up some of my sensitivity a little bit on my aim downside. Like all that stuff was just, all of it, as soon as you optimize it all, like figure out where you want it to go, a lot of it is really fun. Now, it can get repetitive if it stays at lower levels. That's what I mean. You got to kind of hang in there to start really seeing a curve of advancement before you can be challenged more. If you want an immediate challenge and you're trying to jump into a game, I don't think that this would be the game for you. I mean, it's the same thing like Helldivers 2, the way you were treated, and Warframe in totality. When in Helldivers 2, a lot of people call it repetitive, right? Because you're playing those types of enemies all day. And it's kind of just like you do your battle pass, you go back, you jump back in, do a few missions. It's the same thing with the First Descendant. You're literally doing missions, jumping in, playing these enemies, jump back in, do another, fight these enemies, kind of gradually level up, go check out all the skins you're unlocking, all the cosmetics. It is a right investment. If you enjoy the game and you're playing for the investment, for the long haul, and for cosmetics and to unlock things, perfect. There's a lot of exclusivities also. There's a battle pass they do offer, and the shop they do offer. So they are going the same actual route you would in any game these days, at least live service games. Overall, I am excited for the long haul of this game though. I think that this game could be something very special if really delivered correctly. I know this is only for a certain type of audience. Again, PvE. I understand if you like PvP, then you probably won't like this game. But if you love PvE, if you feel somewhat of an open world, right, like a semi-open world, maps and content and live service and updates, depending on how the community is, I think this game can go places. And it looks cool. Everything just looks awesome in terms of execution. There were a few I wouldn't say there was multiple bugs. There's a few things. Again, it's only a final test what I'm doing right now. But I think that the theme and the aesthetic of the game is also cool. But again, you have to know that it's going to take a while. This is where I say if you like Warframe, if you like Helldivers 2, then you will like this game. If you thought Helldivers 2 was too repetitive and you think Warframe is not really that fun either because you like Destiny PvP Essential, then you're probably not going to like the First Descendant. So that's pretty much the conclusive thought process. If you like Helldivers 2, if you like Warframe, you're definitely going to like First Descendant. So that's just it right there, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one and peace.